Hello everyone, welcome back to our Java tutorial series. In this video, we will learn about the most important object-oriented programming concepts is abstraction. So we will understand what abstraction is, why it is needed, and how it helps us write cleaner and more secure program. So let's get started. So what is abstraction? So abstraction means hiding implementation details and showing only essential features, essential functionality to the user or end user. So, in simple words, the user knows what an object can do, but does not need to know how it performs the task. Okay. So this will make program easier to use and easier to maintain. So hiding implementation details. Okay. The backend logic, what we have written, how it is performing, those things will be hidden. And only the essential part, what the end user should know, only those information will be showing. Okay, so focus on what an object does, not on how it does. So our focus should be on what an object does, not on how. Okay. So if we take real example, so let's understand. So suppose you're using a coffee machine. Okay. Now to make a coffee, you simply choose the type of coffee and press the start button. Okay. You will choose the type of coffee, which type of coffee you want, and you will press the start button. But you don't need to know how the machine heats the water and grinds the coffee beans and mixing ingredients, whatever, mixing everything together, or how it is pouring the coffee. Okay, so all these implementation details, okay, all these implementation details are hidden. Okay, this is what exactly abstraction is. This is what abstraction is. So the backend logic, the backend process, the implementation details, how the things are going on background, that are hidden. Only essential details, what we need to know, what we should know, only essential details are visible or showing. Okay, and non-essential, these are what? Non-essential, these are not required for us. Okay, only we want to press button and we should get the coffee. So the non-essential details are hidden, only essential details are visible. So the concept of showing essential details and hiding non-essential details, the implementation details, is known as abstraction. Okay, let's take one more example so we will have some better clarity. Okay, so as a user, let's say for an ATM machine, as a user, you insert your card. Okay, you insert your card. Then what next? You enter your PIN. Then you withdraw cash. This is the process in ATM machine. Okay, you never see how PIN verification is going on, how your balance validation is going on, how the bank communicates with its different server, performing different database operation. So these are what? Internal process, background process. This is what? Background process. So these process are what? Hidden. Why? Because these are non-essential to end user. Non-essential to end user. End user means we are using, right? So whoever is using this ATM machine need not to know these things, whatever going on background and internal process. So that's why they have kept it hidden, and whatever it should be visible, that is pin withdraw money. This process is visible, okay? The user can see. So these are what? Essential details. So essential details are visible, whereas non-essential details are hidden. So this concept is known as abstraction. Only showing essential detail and hiding non-essential details. Implementation part. This is implementation part, okay? I hope you got some clarity now. Now we will move to next question. Why do we need abstraction? What is the need? So first thing is it hides unnecessary complexity. Why I'm saying complexity? It hides unnecessary. Why we are calling unnecessary? Because that is not required to end user. Unnecessary implementation details. So this is hidden, okay? So this is one point. And why complexity we are saying? Because generally the implementation part will be complex and that is not essential to end user. And second thing, it provides a simple interface. Okay, simple interface for users so that they can easily understand. And it improves implementation. Okay, how? By you improving security. Okay, so let's say if the internal logic changes in the future, then the user does not have to change the way they use the object, right? So interface will be same only, but the implementation is going to change. So user will not get impacted. Whatever is happening, that is in the background process. That is implementation wise. Okay, so which are hidden. So the abstraction helps organize code more efficiently. That's what better code organization. So that's why we need abstraction. So in future, if we want to change any implementation details, so these things are nothing relation with the end user. So end user only wants simple interface. That's why we need abstraction. So for better understanding, let's think of what will happen without abstraction. Okay, let's imagine like if abstraction didn't exist, then what will happen? So every user would need to understand all the internal implementation details before using a feature. So abstraction means data hiding. Okay, so we know abstraction means data hiding. We are hiding some data, right? Implementation details, whatever. So in this, we are seeing without abstraction. That means we are not hiding any data. We are showing everything to end user. So every implementation step, every internal calculation, whatever operation we are performing, whatever logic we have written for validations. So all those things, we are showing it to user. Okay. But user need to know these things or not. That is required for user or not. If user is going to ATM machine, he will just insert the card and enter the pin. But we are showing the user how the pin verification is going on, which logic we are executing for your pin verification, those internal thing we are showing to end user, that is nothing to do with end user. He just want to enter pin and that should be validated and cat should come out. So without abstraction, this is the problem. It will be very difficult to use for end user knowing everything. So it will be complex code for him, difficult to use, because there will be no simple interface. It will, user has to understand everything, all background process, whatever it is going. So that would make software much more complicated. Abstraction solves this problem by exposing only what's necessary. Exposing means what? Only showing the essential or required things to end user, and it will hide the complex part. What is the complex part? The implementation, the logic, and the background process. So it will show the essential part and it will hide the complex part. That's what abstraction is. So with abstraction, what it will happen? User only needs to know what available features, required input, expected output. That's it. And whatever implementation, the complexity, whatever it is, that will be hidden. So the process, this process is known as abstraction. Data hiding. Only showing essential details to end user. Okay, so with abstraction, the user only needs to know which functionality is available. Okay, what input is required and what output to expect. Those things. Everything happening behind the scenes will remain hidden. So this will make what? This will make software much easy to learn for the end user, and also for usage also will be easy for the end user. So abstraction, what it exactly achieved, I mean how it is achieved. So in Java, abstraction is mainly achieved using two concepts. The first is abstract class and the second is interface. So we can say there are two ways to achieve abstraction. That is data hiding. We are hiding some data, right? The complex part we will hide, and only the essential details which needs to know by the user, only those data will be shown to the end user. So to achieve this concept, to achieve this abstraction, we have two ways. One is abstract class, if we are using abstract class, and using interface. Okay, so we will study both of these in detail in the upcoming videos. Okay, we'll see different examples and understand. But for now, we should understand what the abstraction is and how it can be achieved. And without abstraction, what is the problem and how we are resolving those issues with the use of abstraction. Okay, so these things we need to understand. So let's quickly summarize what we have learned. Okay, so abstraction means it will hide the implementation details, the complex part. It will hide the complex part. It will show only essential detail, essential functionality to the end user. End user will know only the required information, that is essential functionality. So it will, what it will do, it will reduce complexity, improve security. If we tell everything to user, then how can we secure the application? it will make code easier to maintain, because we are following the principle, we are following the concept of abstraction. Okay, so abstraction hides implementation details while exposing only essential functionality, only showing essential functionality. So it will reduce complexity, it will improve security, and it will also make applications easier to maintain. Okay, and how do we achieve the abstraction? So abstraction is achieved or implemented using two ways. What are those two ways? So those are, one is abstract class and another is interface. Okay, so that's all for this video. I hope this tutorial helped you to understand the concept of abstraction in Java. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.